grass beneath my feet. Small town dreams under stadium lights so sweet. From Pee-wee to varsity, we chase that ball. Champions arise as the leaves start to fall. College colors fly, battle cries ring out. Saturday's alive with victory and doubt. Alumni pride and freshman hope collide as big skin heroes take the field in stride. We are the kings of the fall. From sea to shining sea, we answer the call. Every city, every town, on the Friday night spell, for the love of the game, we rise and we fail.
All right, here we are for Husky Hoops. And no, Christy, it is not Conversations with Cully and Conlon. Cully has been abandoned for today. There is no Joe D. There is no Maria. Maria is in Puerto Rico. She said she was going to come on, but apparently is not. So the good news is you're stuck with me. The bad news is you're stuck with me. So here we go. No, it is a song Dave has that he rarely plays, and I love it. So I got a chance to play it for once. Our Yukon Huskies, the men, pure dominance. Pure dominance. We are 11-1 overall going into Big East play, and we just began with Butler. And I don't believe there is anyone in the Big East that is going to give us any sort of competition. The first quarter, we came out guns blazing, 39 points to Butler's 25, 40 points in the second half to Butler's 35. And it was great to see again. Solo ball getting back into his rhythm. 32 minutes, 8 for 14 shooting from the field, 3 for 6 from three-point land, and 7 for 8 for his free throws. He did have 5 rebounds, 2 assists, 1 block, 26 points. Next, the big man, Terrace Reed Jr. Mr. Reed is looking healthier and healthier as the day goes on, the night goes on, the games go on. He scored 16, 8 of 12 shooting. He had 5 boards, and he only had 3 fouls, which for him, very good. But he did have 5 turnovers to go with it, so we don't like that as much. He did have 3 blocks, not leaving his feet as much, which is what we talked about. Huge for him. And Mullins, now a starter, due to Jaden Ross preferring to come off the bench. I think he is a spark off the bench and doing a phenomenal job, much better than he was as a starter. The expectations put on him as a starter were much, much higher. We had Mullins playing 28 minutes, 5 for 9 from the field, 2 for 5 from three-point land, 3 rebounds, but he did have 4 personal fouls, 2 assists. The key to all this, I believe, before I get to Mr. Caravan, is Demery. Demery had 11 assists He only scored 2 points, but he had 11 assists, 6 rebounds, and in 28 minutes of play. So the point guard position is crucial. Him stepping up, him being able to be that facilitator, be that quarterback, is going to make a difference because we needed that desperately, and he is answering the call and doing a great job at it, at least in the Big East. We'll see what happens when they play against some better competition. Off the bench, Mr. Jaden Ross. Jaden Ross had 13 points, like we talked about. He's doing better. Ross and Stewart, we expected more out of them, but Ross is coming along. He was 6 and 9 shooting off the bench, 1 for 4 from 3-point land, 13 points. So it was great to see him be the fourth leading scorer or the third leading scorer, especially coming off the bench. Caravan had a very, very off night. 25 minutes. He only took 3 shots from the field, which was quite surprising for him. He had been playing exceptionally well, especially in the bigger games. Very consistent. He did have 5 rebounds. He also had 4 personal fouls as well to go with it. So Caravan has to be that consistent anchor, I would say. That consistent anchor, rise or fall. He is always there. Always there. Always there to dominate and prepare. But we did not get a great performance out of him against the Butler team that I did not believe was great. They are 8-3 overall, 1-1 in the Big East, but they completely looked outmatched. Drayton Jones had 13 points for Butler, and Stink Robinson, it's a great name, Stink. I should have had that nickname. Stink would fit perfectly with me. 10 points for the Stink. 10 points for the Stink. And then off the bench, Evan Haywood had 10 points in 23 minutes. But Butler, that was their first loss in the Big East, 3rd overall. UConn 11-1, winning 79-60. UConn looks better than they have, and God, I would say even 2 years, even the national championship year. Malachi Smith off the bench, he didn't do much. 12 minutes given to him, and no points. He had 1 assist, 2 rebounds, and 1 foul. Rybe, 18 minutes, 6 points, 4 block shots by the big man, 7 rebounds. So the production between him and Reed, we'd like to see him score a little bit more, but being that 7-foot defensive presence in the middle is making a difference. Whether he's blocking shots or not, he affects the way teams play offense. He redirects their offense. They're afraid to go inside because there's a 7-footer in there. There's a 7-footer that is going to affect my shot selection. There's a 7-footer in there who is going to block my shot. There is a 7-footer in there who is going to make me a highlight on SportsCenter. So Rebe for a freshman, I think he's doing outstanding. Malachi Smith, we'd like to see a little bit more out of him. Solo ball. Solo is the man. And Reed is the man. Reed being healthy is crucial. That has to be monitored all season long. And the fact that they gave him the least amount of minutes of the starters, I think, shows that. Hurley has a method to his madness, and that is why he played 21 minutes. But 21 minutes, 16 points. Can't do better than that. Almost a point a minute. 8 of 12 shooting. Solo going 32 minutes, and the 26 points was huge, leading the way. And then Mullins being in the starting lineup has really energized this team. I think that has made just a tremendous, tremendous difference having him in the starting lineup. Caravan, I was surprised just because he had been playing so well. And for him to drop off this game, I wasn't expecting. I was not expecting that. So looking at the schedule going forward, I believe they play tonight, if I'm not mistaken. They have, I'm sorry, I went way too far ahead. They have, I was on the wrong sport. They have another Big East game tonight. I was just double checking to see who it was. Okay. So Xavier. They play Xavier tonight on the Peacock because we have a TV deal with the Peacock for the Big East. And this is what I complained about as regards to football. It's going to catch up with us in basketball. It's going to catch up with us in basketball because we are not generating the revenue that we could be, because these networks do not pay big money to conferences for broadcast rights for basketball. That's just how it is. ESPN is one of them. But otherwise, ESPN, ABC, CBS has the one shining moment. Otherwise, that's what I think is going to ultimately be our downfall, because you're seeing teams from the SEC, you're seeing teams from the Big 12 with the NIL money. And I read an article how they're getting around it. Basically, the cap is set at $20 million, and you're supposed to report any NIL deal that you get above $600. Now, the majority of players are not reporting it because the teams are basically saying, okay, go ahead and enforce it. Because they don't believe it is an enforceable rule. They don't believe it's an enforceable bylaw by the NCAA. So the teams aren't reporting the NIL money. So these kids, like I said, between 15 million is going to football alone, and the rest is going to men's and women's basketball, which drive the revenue that funds athletic departments for all other sports, all non-revenue sports. And Ted Cruz made a quote or a tweet yesterday about the state of college athletics being an absolute mess, an absolute disaster. And he says it needs to be fixed. And while on Rebel Republic, we said they have more pressing issues at order, this is going to end up being one, because it's going to be an arms race year in and year out to get the money, to buy the best players, and there's no loyalty. as we're seeing with UConn football, the backup quarterback Tucker McDonald just entered the transfer portal. And the reason Ted Cruz made the statement was because Iowa State, after Coach Campbell left for Penn State, is left with 17 players on their roster. Now, the transfer portal window was cut from a month to 15 days. It opens January 2nd, which is in a couple days from now. And it's 15 days long. And there's like 10,000 kids in it. So it's going to be a cluster to try to get this done, to try to get guys signed, to try to find guys a home. And UConn right now, Cam Edwards, God bless him, played his heart out in the bowl, even though he didn't go in the second half as much. He is open to coming back to UConn. And I said, I think Cam is special, but running backs are a dime a dozen. But I think this is going to trickle down to basketball. Playing in the Big East Conference is a detriment to us. Going through and smoking everyone is a detriment to us. It does not help us. It does not challenge us. It does not prepare us for what we are going to see in March. And I don't want to see another early exit. Hurley is as good of a coach as you can get. Hurley can win national championships like Dave Schumann can fart, which is a lot. So there you go. But the problem is financially, this is going to catch up with us, whether we like it or not. Being in the Big East Conference is not good for us. And the closest opportunity we may have to get out is 2030. 2030 may be the soonest we can get out of the Big East. And the reason being, Notre Dame's buyout with the ACC drops to a mere $76 million. Well, they make 90 in media rights deals with everyone else, with NBC. So Notre Dame leaves the ACC. The ACC for football is adding 9 conference games like all the major conferences are right now. It's going to be very, very difficult for us to get games in football. As you saw, the schedule was released. We're playing James Madison. We're playing Old Dominion. We're playing Lafayette. But we do have Syracuse. We do have Maryland on there. We do have North Carolina, which I think is a step in the right direction. Exactly what we need. Exactly what we need. If we can show that we can draw and be successful against top-level competition, that is going to open doors for us that have been closed for the last few years. We have been on the precipice. We have been so close to having deals done with either the Big 12, possibly the ACC, for football only, until basketball. Basketball is tied to the Big East until 2030. So until basketball can come with football, I think we'll be in a situation where you'll see us as a national brand caliber like we were in the Big East. So moving along to the Lady Huskies. The Lady Huskies just completely decimated Butler, 94-47. 94-47. Sarah Strong, 15 points. She had 3 steals, 6 boards. AZ Fudd, 13 points, 2 boards. Sarah, 7 of 13 shooting. AZ, 5 of 7 shooting. They both only, they played 24 minutes, 22 minutes. KK played 19 minutes, 9 points. But again, she had 6 assists, which is critical in that point guard role. Sarah Williams had 7 points, 4 boards. She's coming along. She's just been a little inconsistent for my taste. Ashlyn Shade had 6 points, 3 of 5 shooting. She played the most minutes. She should have taken some more shots. She did not, but who are you going to take shots away from in a blowout like this? And I was yelled at on TikTok for not mentioning, again, Blanca Quinones. Blanca had 12 points, and she, again, off the bench, was the third leading scorer. The third leading scorer. She was 5 of 7 shooting, 2 of 3 from three-point land, 3 rebounds, and 3 steals. But again, just defensively, this team is unbelievable. Sarah had 3 steals. AZ had 2 steals. KK had 2 steals. Sarah had a steal. Ashlyn Shade had 4 steals. Blanca had 3 steals. So defensively, this team is ridiculous. But again, my only fear is playing in the Big East is going to hamper them. And I say that because you're playing worse competition. A lot of teams tend to play down to their level of competition. I'm not saying UConn's going to do that. I'm not saying Gino would ever let that happen. But my only fear is they would get comfortable playing against this competition and then tournament time have a meltdown. Do I think that's going to happen? No. I think they're way too explosive. I think they're way too talented. I don't think there's anyone who can challenge this team. This could be one of the best teams in UConn history, and that includes several of the undefeated teams. There's so much talent to go around. Gino was talking about not having enough minutes to go around. And looking at the schedule, they play Providence tonight. Tonight they are playing Providence on New Year's Eve. Well, not tonight, at 3 o'clock. They are playing Providence, who they should annihilate. They should annihilate Providence, and that will be good to see. But Providence, Seton Hall, St. John's, Creighton, Villanova, the next challenge they really have is Notre Dame. They play Notre Dame on January 19th. Other than that, who's going to challenge them? That's why I say the Big East is detrimental. Tennessee, they play February 1st. Other than those 2 late contests in conference, there's nobody. And that is my question. The Big East came back. The Big East has it set. So, $20 million can be paid for by the athletic department directly to athletes. None of the Big East schools have football, besides Georgetown, who really doesn't have football because they don't have scholarships. They play in the Patriot League for football. and I coached in the Patriot League. I adore the Patriot League, but it's just not the same. So you're looking at schools that don't have the financial constraints of having a football team. They should be able to spend on basketball. The only guy that has gone out and made basketball a priority and fundraising a priority is Rick Pitino. Rick Pitino has done that for the St. John's men's. And, he's going to do everything he can to get you to the NBA. He's not someone who loses sleep if you leave early. And it's paid off for him. It's paid off for him. So that is my big concern. College football, as I said a million times, rules the roost because of the $1 billion revenue that is generated by these conferences. The Texas Tech guy who donated a ton of money had a plan where he believes that all conferences should band together and negotiate television rights together, and that it could be worth $7 billion, which would finance the non-revenue sports. Otherwise, with the difference in revenue from conferences, you're going to end up seeing sports get cut as the cap goes up. So the cap was 20 million this year. It's going to be 22 million next year. It's going to continue to rise based on the revenue generated by the conferences. So 5 years, 10 years, it could be $30 million. And I just don't like the state of college football. And then let's talk college basketball with I believe it was the Baylor player, or was it Baylor who tried to bring in okay, this was it. So there was a player, Baylor signed former NBA draft pick James Najai, and that current NBA player Trenton Flowers is pursuing eligibility from the NCAA. This is completely absurd. Charlie Baker, the commissioner, who has zero power, says the NCAA has and will not grant eligibility to any prospective or returning student athletes who have signed an NBA contract, including a two-way contract, which means a G League and an NBA contract. As schools are increasingly recruiting individuals with international league experience, the NCAA is exercising discretion in applying the actual and necessary expenses bylaws to ensure prospective student athletes with experience in American basketball leagues are not at a disadvantage compared to their international counterparts. Well, dumb fuck, they already are, because less and less freshmen are getting recruited around the country for football and basketball because of the transfer portal. Teams would much rather go into the transfer portal, grab a kid, than take a freshman. John Calipari made an impassioned speech about it. He says, you know what? I may be old school, but I like coaching freshmen. I like coaching freshmen. I like recruiting and coaching freshmen. He likes developing them, even though he may develop them for a year. But that is important to him. The NCAA has prevailed on the vast majority of eligibility-related lawsuits. Yeah, right. And I'm 210 pounds. Recent outlier decisions in joining the NCAA on a nationwide basis from enforcing rules that have been on the books for decades without even having a trial are widely destabilizing. Baker will be working with D1 leaders in recent weeks to protect the great college basketball from these misguided attempts to destroy the American institution. Charlie, the American institution has been destroyed for years. Since NIL and the transfer portal have been implemented, college sports have been destroyed. College football, college basketball. And I'll tell you why. I've talked to several coaches who said they saw this coming. They said, we can get ahead of it. We can put guardrails around it. We can put, you make this much if you're a freshman. You make this much if you're a sophomore. And kind of have a set revenue for players to give them something. Because, again, for decades, the schools were making all the money. All the money was going to the schools from broadcasting rights. Nobody cared. Nobody cared. They let it happen. They let it happen. Nobody gave two flying fucks what happened. Now they're in panic mode. They're in panic mode because they're allowing the European players to come over and play. They're allowing a 2023 draft pick to go back to Baylor. Baylor signed, again, James Najai, who was a former NBA draft pick. And it used to be you couldn't come in and play mid-season. He's coming into play. He's coming into play. So, in line with several other international players who never previously enrolled in college and never played in an NBA game, Najai was cleared by the NCAA last week. He was drafted, but he never appeared in a game. So he technically is like 32 years old and he has NCAA eligibility. And coaches are pissed. Coaches are pissed. The rules, real simple, the rules be the rules. So if you put your name in this is what Calipari said. The rules be the rules. If you put your name in the NBA draft, I don't care if you're from Russia and you stay in the draft, you can't play college basketball. Arkansas coach John Calipari said, as he ranted on Monday night. Well, that's only for American kids. What? If your name is in the draft and you get drafted, you can't play because that's our rule. And that's what happened with James. James put his name in the draft and he played. Okay. There's been dozens of players with European pro experience. Several former G League players who have been able to go back and play. And again, Gonzaga coach Mark Few told reporters, it's wild out there right now. Well, Mark, it's not just wild out there right now. It's been wild out there for years. And you guys opened Pandora's box. You guys opened it and you can't close it. You can't close it because right now precedent has been set in the court of freaking law at the highest level, the Supreme Court. The Supreme Court said you can pay players, you can transfer, and eligibility-wise, look at the Mendoza dipshit from Vanderbilt, who is 5'6" and was at the Heisman Trophy presentation. 8 years. 8 years he played college football. Look at our guy. I don't even want to say his name because I'm so disgusted. Joe Fignano. Joe, a seventh-year senior, opted out of our bowl game because he believes he is a second, third-round draft pick. Yeah, Joe, guess what? With the numbers you put up, your numbers passing were better than some of the Heisman Trophy winners, candidates. If you were that freaking good, or if anyone gave a flying F about you, you would have been there for the Heisman ceremony. And shame on me. Shame on me for being a hypocrite and going back and denouncing Joe because I praised him year round. I praised him. I said he was great. I said he had ice water in his veins. I said he was a great leader. I said he was a talent. And I believe all of it. What I don't believe in is what he pulled on his team. In the worst of situations, coach leaves, your team needs its captain, and Joe goes to Florida to prepare for the East-West Shrine game. I got shredded on Facebook and Instagram for my comments. Joe abandoned his team. Joe quit on his team. I don't know what you call it. Being selfish? Doing what's best for yourself? Leaving your teammates with the bag to hold? Letting a true freshman with zero experience start? Is that positive? Is that the message you want to send, Joe? I can't wait. I can't wait for you to go through your interviews with NFL teams and explain that one to them. Joe, why didn't you play in the bowl game against Army? I wanted to get ready for the NFL draft. Well, Joe, guess what? Every senior gets ready for the NFL draft. Playing one more freaking game wasn't going to make a difference. You abandoned your team. You quit on your team. You quit on every single fan like me who cheered you on, who rooted for you, who believed in you, who bought in to the bullshit. And I hear all the time, Dan Orlovsky. Dan Orlovsky had played for 7 years. He would have blown you out of the water. You're not even close to his level. And Dan was a 5th-round draft pick. So you believing you're a 3rd-round draft pick is what's called delusional. Delusional. That's what I have to say. So the state of UConn athletics, basketball is flourishing. Basketball is going to be great for now. For now. However, it is going to catch up with us. It is going to catch up with us. Because financially, we are increasing our spending. We're going to spend as a group of 5 school $3 to $5 million a year. Is it going to be enough? Are we going to get better TV broadcast rights? Probably not. But football, St. Benedict believed that winning was going to fill the stands. Winning was going to turn the program around. Winning was going to cure all, and it didn't. We went 9-3. We had a chance to become the best team in school history as far as FBS wins. Nobody cared. None of the players cared. A few of them did. Lewis Hansen did. Lewis Hansen would have snapped the ball to himself and played the whole game against Army. Lewis Hansen is what it means to be a true football player. The rest, I'm opting out. I'm going in the transfer portal. I'm going to transfer my balls. How about work hard? But it's all about the Benjamins. It's all about the green. And basketball is doing the same. Basketball, we can get by because we're paying a few players a lot of money. We can get by with $5 million, $3 million budget with the men and the women. We can get by with that very easily because you're paying less. But when you have an SEC school that has a war chest of $30 million to pay players, guess what? They're not only going to beat you in football, they're going to beat you in basketball. And it may not be this year, but it is coming. It is coming. And unless St. Benedict has a sense of urgency, the athletic department has a sense of urgency to get into a freaking conference, we're doomed. And everyone who praises and loves basketball up and down, oh, UConn is so great. Oh, I love UConn basketball. We're so special. We're so talented. Oh, cry me a river. Oh, I love basketball. Basketball. Basketball, please don't leave me. Please don't leave me. You're so great, basketball. You're so great. You're so great. Guess what? We're in the worst freaking conference possible. That's basketball. We're in a garbage conference. The Big East. The Big East. You could take a high school team from New York City and put it in the Big East, and they beat Seton Hall. They beat Providence. They beat Butler. They beat Xavier. That's how good the Big East is. You want to tout the talent of the Big East? Please, go ahead. How many teams did we get in the tournament in the last year? We got one for the women. It was us. We got two for the men, or three for the men. Us, St. John's, Creighton, whatever. That's what we got. You want to be proud of that? Is that something to be proud of? You won the Big East Conference? It's like being the tallest little man. That's what it's like. So if you're going around bragging about us dominating the Big East and having this great program, yeah, we do have a great program. But we are not getting tested right now playing this Big East Conference schedule. If anything, it is detrimental to everything we are about and everything we are doing, and it is an insult to everything Jim Calhoun built. An insult. We thought bringing the Big East back was the answer. We thought leaving the AAC was the answer for football. Sure, it may have been. But now we're playing catch up because we don't have athletic director, St. Benedict, athletic director of the year. Oh, he raised $50 million. Where did that go? I wonder how many players that paid. Did it pay Solo Ball, Terrace Reed? Who else did it pay? The $50 million he raised for the athletic department. Oh, and we do revenue sharing. That's brilliant. Let's pay the swimming and diving team. Pay them. Let's rev share. Great. Let's pay cross country. Let's pay track. Because that's what all the top schools do. No, what all the top schools do, they focus on football to make the money, and the money made from football goes to the other sports. That's how it's done. We're not doing that. We're revenue sharing. And oh, by the way, you want to donate to UConn? There's 5,000 different athletic funds. Go on and try to donate. See which fund you want to donate to. The Husky Athletic Fund allegedly is the best. I don't know. All I know is there's 47 different ones. And then there's Store Central. Store Central are NIL collective. Store Central, who is anything but unbiased. So if you want to support anyone, support Dave and I, because we make legitimate content that tells you the truth. Whether you want to hear it or not, we tell you the truth. Because we care. Because we bled for this university. We bled. We went through hell playing football for this university. We love UConn. Mike Burton said it, bleed blue. We bleed blue. We bleed bluer than anyone. That's why we do these shows. That's why we produce content, because nobody else does. There's very few shows covering UConn athletics. Very few. Not when I played, not when Dave played. There aren't beat writers going to practice. Nobody cares. Nobody cares. So I just wanted to mention the WNBA is nearing the point of no return. Negotiations are not going well, and they are going to sorry. The WNBA is going to be voting to go on a strike because they cannot come to a consensus on the CBA agreement. The players are displeased with negotiations, and they don't feel the WNBA is negotiating in good faith. And the deadline is January 9th. That was when the extension was made. Okay? And, you know, they just want a fair deal. They increased the salary max to 1.2 million. The average salary is going to be $500,000, which is all good. And they deserve it. Good for them. So the Houston Rockets ownership is in substantive talks with the Connecticut Sun over purchase and relocation of the franchise. The discussions have been described as positive, and ownership, the Sun's ownership will find the offer acceptable. The parties have not signed an exclusivity agreement, but the decision on the future of the franchise will be to come. Houston previously had a WNBA team, and they want the Sun. The Sun are just in a bad location because no one wants to go to Uncasville, Connecticut. And so it looks like just so everyone knows, the Hall of Fame is going to be happening, and it's going to be Blake Griffin, Candace Parker, Jamal Crawford, the 1996 Olympic women's team, Bruce Pearl, Calvin Sampson, coaches, were among the first-time nominees. Also, a first-time nominee, Ella Deladon, who famously backed out of UConn, and Joe Johnson, players. Mike D'Antoni is a contributor. So that's all I've got. Mazel tov on your Husky hoops. I'm sorry Joe D wasn't here to put me in my place, Christy. I'm sorry Maria wasn't here to be the voice of reason. I'm sorry Dave wasn't here. You got stuck with me, and you got me fired up because I'm sick of the bullshit. I'm sick of college sports. I'm sick of the transferring. I'm sick of the money. A scholarship used to be enough, and it's just going to get bigger. The arms race is going to get bigger, and it's just going to get worse. So this is Steve Cully. Remember, when life gives you lemons, don't make lemonade. Take 2 oranges, throw them right back at Saint fucking Benedict.